Wafa Tarnowska was born and educated in Lebanon and Australia and has worked and lived in India, Poland, Cyprus, and United Arab Emirates in the UK. She is an award-winning writer, translator, and storyteller. She has written seven children's books and two books of quotations, as well as translated dozens of children's stories from English into Arabic and several documentaries from Arabic to English for the BBC and other major channels. And in today's episode of Auto Interview, it's my pleasure, excitement, and honor to offer the show today, Tawa Tanovska. How are you doing today, Wafa?
I'm doing wonderfully well despite the gloomy weather. Here, I'm in a country with gloomy weather today. That's why I put in the northern lights behind me to make everybody happy.
Northern Light. I love that. Quite interesting, really, that we are here to sit down across miles away, to have this conversation around your book. Thank you very much for joining in.
Thank you for having me. It's a great honor.
Yeah, my pleasure as well. So, Alpha, we are going to get into the nitty-gritty of what actually inspired you to write Noah's Secret Library. But then, you've been quite a writer for the past 25 years now, and have published multiple titles aside from Noah's Secret Library, which I find to be quite interesting and quite awesome, really. Now, I wanted to ask you, what is your first creative spark as a writer? What is it that fuels you in to write? What is that thing that inspired you, that keep you going, that fuels you to continue on this beautiful journey and profession of being a writer? I would love to also start from there.
Well, there are two things that inspire me to write. Either a true story that I've
Mm,
read somewhere and that really touches my heart,
mm,
or an experience I had myself that has impacted me.
mm,
And I also like old stories because I am an absolute admirer of the Arabian Nights or the Thousand and One Nights. And I have done one already book about them, and a new one is coming out at the end of the year. 10
wow.
volume little box set is going to come out of a rewriting of the Arabian Nights because they're 1,000 years old and they're still amazing. I mean, like utterly amazing. I mean, flying carpets, flying horses, instruments that make you see wherever you want to see, way before drones 1,000 years ago.
Mm,
I mean, an apple that you can eat that could revive you, the
mm,
elixir of life. These ideas, whether from ancient text or from things that I have experienced or I
mm.
have maybe read in the paper, is
Yeah.
what inspires me.
That's an amazing inspiration, really, for a book. Quite interesting. You're able to give us this beautiful answer towards the creative spark and the foundation of the making of your book. Now, I want us to go to Noah. In the book, Noah and our friend create a secret library during the war. Did you ever have a similar place of escape when you were growing up? And also, what role do you hope libraries, secret or otherwise, public or whatever it is, play in children's life today, especially in times of difficulty? I would love your take on that.
Okay. Now, Nour's Secret Library is based on a real story that happened in 2016 in Syria, in a suburb of Damascus. I
Wow.
read on the BBC that there were some teenagers who, under the bombs, started collecting books that were fallen on the ground from destroyed houses and destroyed schools. So
Mm,
they picked these books up and they took them and they cleansed them and they started piling them up. And at the end, they had 15,000 books. What
wow.
to do with them? It's a true story. They decided to do a secret library in the basement of a bombed out building. It
Wow.
was secret because in those days, anywhere you could congregate was not allowed. So people kept the location of the library secret for 3 years and they used the library. I mean, they made shelves from broken planks of wood, and they got some furniture from here, there, and everywhere. And people started coming to this library because there was not much else to do under the bombs. Because what
Oh,
people don't understand is under the bombs, which I lived under when I was a young girl, there is no electricity. So you can't use your phone. You can't charge your phone. You need to be very careful with the amount of energy you use. There is no fridge. You can't
mm,
really have frozen food or even fresh food. So it's a completely different way of thinking about life. And
mm,
these children inspired me because when I was a child, I lived through the war in Lebanon as a young
mm.
child, and we
Wow.
were under the bombs. And when we were under the bombs with no electricity, no fresh food, what I spent my time doing was reading. Now,
Wow.
other people would play chess or play cards or listen to the radio. I'm not talking you on your phone, but on a battery, because
Yeah.
battery lasts longer,
Mm,
and or make jokes. Or, but I've always been a bit of a bookworm, and I've always loved reading. When there was no war, I used to go to school and I would borrow one book a day and finish it. So
wow.
I'm this kind of child. And when the war happened, my refuge was books. So the
Mm,
story of Nour and my story coincided. And that's what made me want to write Nour's Secret Library. My experiences and the experiences of other children in a war situation. And they are both real experiences.
mm. Oh, wow. I love that statement. When the war happened, my refuge was book. That's a beautiful statement you've made in there. And I'm thinking of even using that as a title to this interview. Quite beautiful enough. Thank you very much for your lovely answer to that. That's quite interesting to know.
Thank you.
Very interesting. And I wanted to go much further because many children's books shy away from tough topics like war. What made you specifically decide that children were ready for this kind of story? And also, you've lived in so many countries and culture, from Lebanon to Australia to India to Cyprus to Poland and in the UK. How has that shaped your voice as a storyteller?
Children are way more intelligent than we think. Children are way more alert and aware about things than we adults think.
Mm,
Now, of course, it's normal that parents, educators, teachers want to shield children from difficult matters,
mm,
difficult subjects, and traumatic things like
yeah,
war, like famine, like
absolutely.
whatever's happening at the moment. Now, I've always wanted to write about the war because that 3 months that
Mm,
I spent as a child in a basement in Lebanon under the bombs changed my life in
wow.
many, many ways. It changed my life in the sense that I became a very peaceful person. I'm a vegetarian. I'm a peaceful person. I like peace, not war. I advocate for peace. I advocate
Mm,
for cooperation, for understanding each other, not
mm,
for fighting each other. So that incident changed me, and I wanted to talk about war in a way that was not traumatic. It's
mm,
not easy to talk about a traumatic subject in a way that is not traumatic.
absolutely.
So I found the secret library as a way to do it because it had a hopeful message that even if it's war, even if things seem bleak, there's always something little you can do. You don't have to make a secret library, but maybe you can read to younger children. Maybe you can play with younger children. Maybe you can help younger children do their homework. Or you can teach a language to somebody if you know a language and the other person doesn't. So there are always things one can do, even when things are bleak and even when things are hopeless, you
Mm,
know. And that's why I wanted to do it. And it wasn't easy, to be honest. It took me a little while to convince my publisher and editor, but I think they liked the story so much that they decided to take a chance. And they were right in taking a chance because I won two gold medals, one silver medal, many
Wow.
nominations, got invited to many book festivals because of this one story.
Wow. That's an amazing one you've achieved, really. Quite an interesting one and very awesome. Thank you for this lovely, deep, interesting answer you've got to these questions. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now you've
Thank you.
adapted tales from 1001 Night and written about amazing women in the Middle East. What draw you to retell and persevere these stories for a new generation? And also, translation and storytelling are both acts of carrying meaning across boundaries. How do you balance staying true to a story's origin while making it accessible to another global audience? I would love your take. I think I've got two questions in there already.
Yes, you do. Okay, the first question is why I do retelling.
Yeah.
Because I told you in a previous answer that these stories are utterly amazing. They are so magical and they are so kind of surprising. It's like I've just done this 10 volume of the Arabian Nights with
Yeah.
four known stories.
Hmm.
So you've got Aladdin, which everybody knows, Ali Baba, the Sindbad the Sailor, the three most famous ones, and
Hmm.
the Magic Horse, which people know more or less. But then there are 200 stories that people don't
Wow.
know. The Arabian Nights, the 1001 Night, has 200 stories. It's not 1000 story because
Hmm.
every story could last between 2 nights to
Yeah.
10 nights. So there
Absolutely.
are you know, 200 stories. And of the 200 stories, I've chosen six other stories
Wow.
that are unknown. So it's very much a retelling in my own words,
Hmm.
bringing in way more information than in the original text. Because in the original text, in those days, people, for instance, had heard about a city without necessarily having visited it.
Hmm.
Whereas in my case, if I'm writing a story based in Cairo, for instance, I've visited Cairo a few times. And also, I can do research on Cairo. How was Cairo 1,000 years ago? So, how
Hmm.
did Cairo look 1,000 years ago? So, I will do the research and then I'll include it in my retelling. So, it's basically I'm adding way more information than the
Absolutely.
original story,
Yeah.
you know? And also, I'm taking out things that are not really modern anymore. There
Hmm.
are some details and some ways of thinking. For instance, in the Arabian Nights, there are mention of slaves. I mean,
Hmm.
I don't want to mention that in my stories. It happened 1,000 years ago. Many
Hmm.
countries had this, but I personally don't think it goes with modern day thinking and modern day education. So I
Hmm.
removed all these mentions. You know, so I'm a very strict editor. At the same time, I'm creating something new. The
Hmm.
only thing is that the structure of the story has been very much my words,
Yeah.
my descriptions,
Yeah.
my editing, removing things that I don't think are interesting for children. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I made it mine. So, I'm making it mine.
Hmm.
Now, do I prefer doing this or do I prefer writing from scratch? Any writing, I love writing, whether I'm sitting waiting for, let's say in a queue,
Yeah.
I'll bring out my little notebook and I will write a few things. Writing is my breathing. Some people
Hmm.
breathe, some people go to the gym, some people do yoga. Writing is my life. Writing is, I'm never going to retire.
Hmm.
I will stop writing when I die. Writing is, and it wasn't easy. I mean, you think in 25 years I should have published way more books, but it's not easy to have all your ideas published. I have way more ideas than books published and way
Mm.
more manuscripts in my drawers than the ones that are, you know, outside being sold.
That I must say that that is such an amazing and interesting response you've got in there. Beautiful answers to these amazing questions, really. Thank you. So, having lived through the Lebanese Civil War, what role did stories in books play in giving you hope? And also, what do you find most rewarding? Writing your own stories, adapting traditional tales, or translating the voices of others? I would love your take on this.
Having lived through the Lebanese Civil War was a most crucial
Mm,
thing in my life. Having lived a war, I feel included
mm,
in every country that is experienced, anywhere that there is a war,
yeah.
my heart bleeds. It's once you've experienced war, you never forget it.
Mm,
It's in your DNA.
yeah.
For instance, I never watch violent movies. I never watch violent movies. I never watch war movies. You shield yourself eventually from such experience when you grow up.
Mm,
This is one. Two, whether I prefer writing, translating, or else, I love words. Words are my story. Words are my Legos. I love to play with words. And I'm always interested to see how somebody else uses words and if I can, as much as possible, with the most honesty possible and skill, recreate that person's images into another language. I find that quite fun. But this is not what is my most passionate desire. My most passionate desire is to write from scratch. And my second most passionate desire is to, as I told you in a previous answer, rewrite these ancient stories, modernize them,
mm.
add to them, and make them really, really palatable to young audience and the present. And I also am a bridge between the East and the West.
That's an amazing one, really. I love your take on what you find most rewarding, either writing your own stories or adapting traditional tale or translating the voices of others. That's an amazing answer you've got in there. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah. And you know, Wafa, apart from Nour's Secret Library, do you have any other works that you've authored or say currently working on?
Yes, as I said, I've just finished doing the 10 volume is small little booklets on the Arabian Nights will come out very
Wow.
soon. Uh, they're in the making. The last story is being illustrated, and
Oh,
it's a new publisher that I've worked with called Fox Eye. So it's coming
wow.
out before Christmas, this new series of 10 books. Next year, I've got a baby book, my first ever baby book. Usually, I write for 6 to 10, or
Wow.
8 to 12, or 10 to 14.
Mm,
I've never written from 0 to 4 before.
wow.
Now, or not zero, 2.5 till 4.5.
Yeah.
They've inspired me a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. And I love spending time with them. And so as a result, I have my first baby book coming out with Barefoot Books next year,
Mm,
0 till 4. And even more wonderful, it's about my country for babies. So we'll see how it's going to go.
that's an amazing one, really. I hope that goes well and quite beautifully. That'll be very fun.
Yes, it's going to be fun. I mean, writing for babies is completely different than writing for older children because,
Yeah,
first of all, you have to choose every word super carefully. And second, they've
absolutely.
got such a sense of humor. They make things
Easy.
so much more fun. They find things way more funny than we do.
Mm,
Whether it's a word they pronounce badly, they laugh on themselves, you know. If they pronounce a word, one of my grandchildren was trying to pronounce edamame, which is quite a difficult word. Super fascinating.
mm. That's a great one as well. Thank you very much. Thank you. And just in case we have some viewers who are currently watching this interview and would love to get a copy of any of your books, on what platform are they available on for purchase?
Well, Amazon has quite a few of my books, and library. You can go to Barefoot Books. They sell it online on barefootbooks.com. For amazing women of the Middle East, you can go to Amazon and get it. The Arabian Nights, again, you can get it on Amazon. And the other books, I mean, basically, there's only one book on my website you can use in a classroom. It's called Arabian Fables.
Oh,
So if you're interested in stories about animals, but that are Arabic, then
hmm.
you can go and use it. If you're a teacher listening, not necessarily a writer. So it's based on a very ancient text, which I modernized hugely,
Wow.
and it's called Arabian Fables.
Interesting. That's an amazing one. And I left a link in the description part of this interview where interested viewers can get a copy of Wafa Tarnowska books directly on Amazon and Barnes& and Nobles on our website and also on other
Okay.
platforms. I also left a link to Wafa's social media pages for possible followings. So thank you so much, Wafa, for joining me today to sit down across the internet and have a lovely conversation around your body of amazing literature work. I want to say once again, thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much for
Thank you.
participating in this conversation.
Thank you for having me, Peter, and good luck for your amazing ventures and all the authors that you are dialoguing, East, West, past, present, this country to this country. Let's build bridges.
Future, thank you so much.